Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a LEGO city regardless of the space you have. In this video, I'm going to showcase a MOC that I've put together. This is a two-story medical center. It is modular in nature in the sense that the floors can be separated and the roof can be lifted off as well. It's built on a 16 by 32 stud base plate and the interior is completely detailed as well. If you've been following my channel, you know I've done several videos of my building a MOC from start to finish, and this started off as a single story building. I then added a second story and I documented the entire process in the videos, and if you missed that and you'd like to check that out, you can check out the links in the description below. But in this video, I'll do a quick overview of the entire MOC, highlight certain key design elements, and also show you all the interior details. So this is what I designed in terms of the look of a medical center. I wanted something that was a bit serious looking, and I wanted something that was highly identifiable. For my MOCs in general in a LEGO city, I try to build MOCs or buildings that are identifiable from the outside, even if you may not know what it is. And I personally don't like to have every single building have letters with signage, such as the downtown diner. I don't like to have every building spelt out literally for the viewer. I like to come up with 3D signs such as this, in this case a universal red cross, or I'm okay to use decorated stickers or tiles like this to suggest what it is. In this case, I think what suggests that this is a medical center is the overall color scheme, the cross definitely, and just the general build and the design. The colors in terms of the white, the gray, and these trans blue do look medical. So even if I didn't show you this cross, you might guess that this could be a medical facility. I also created this statue on top because I call this the Angel of Mercy Medical Center. So I built this particular Angel of Mercy for the top, and I think it's generally quite fitting. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with the build because I worked on the texture for the front facade. There is some uniformity between the two levels. You can see the dark grey masonry bricks, which has continuity in terms of columns from the first floor to the second floor. Of course, the actual design of the front facade for both floors are different, as I didn't want to just repeat the pattern, otherwise it would be a bit boring. So the window structure is slightly different, but you no doubt still feel that it is of the same build. The back or the sides are about the same in terms of the color scheme and the placement of the windows, although you can see there is some difference over here. So it doesn't look so boring, it's not so uniform, and overall you get a lot of light into the building because you have these trans blue glass panels. Now I must mention that the reason I use these trans blue panels as windows really is for the feel of the medical center, but also so that you can see inside as the viewer. It just looks more interesting if you can see inside, and it looks really busy with all kinds of details of the medical center. Of course, we will just assume that any time that the doctors or the surgeons want, they can close blackout blinds or draw curtains so that you cannot see inside and there's complete privacy. In this case, we actually see a set of Venetian blinds here, and this is actually a sticker from the Friends hospital set, not the hotel, but the hospital. So I'm going to show you the details on the inside. I'm sure you've caught a bit of a glimpse of the inside through the windows, but let's start off from the top. I'll show you some of the builds that I created for the roof, and then we'll have a look inside the medical center. Here's a top view of the MOC, and there are three main small builds for the roof, not counting the Angel of Mercy statue over here. And the first is this industrial size cooling unit, and I actually modeled it after a real cooling unit, a Carrier brand. And if you want to see how I built this, you can check out part 2 of my building a MOC from start to finish in the series, and you can find that link in the description. This is a solar panel, and it's quite detailed. Besides the solar panels, we do have some details on the side, and you can see there's also a meter, and the idea is that electricity is being generated and pushed down into the building from the roof. And finally, we've got a water tank over here, and this lid can actually pop off, and you can see some trans blue studs inside to represent water. And there's an outlet tap over here, and everything connects, and there's a jumper plate here, so the bottom of this pipe actually connects to the roof. So everything is a very solid build. And here's a closer look at the Angel of Mercy statue. So that's the roof. Now let's have a look at the first floor. So everything pops off. As mentioned, this is a modular building, so that pops off, including the jumper plates. We'll ignore that for now. But let's zoom in so that we can have a closer look. There are three main rooms or sections to this particular first floor, and I'm going to show it to you and all the details inside. This is the main door. As you can see, I like how this is designed in terms of framing the entrance, and there's a keypad over here to enter, and this sticker is actually from the extra sticker pack, and that's the logo of the organization that runs this particular medical center. You'd go in from here and you'd enter the main area here, and this is kind of the reception and waiting area. And what we have here is a patient who's coming to see the doctor, and we have the pharmacist, and that's the pharmacy behind her. Let's have a look at the patient first, because this guy was actually injured because he stepped on Lego, and he's brought the offending piece of Lego to the doctor to show him all the injuries that he sustained by stepping on this. He probably fell down on other Lego pieces as well. That's why he's so bandaged up. And over here we have the pharmacist. And I built this little counter on jumper plate so that I can remove it to show it to you. Very simple build, but I place it on this curved tile piece or curved plate over here, just to give it a bit of a design. There's a computer, some notes, and some water. And the reason I have this curved part here so that minifigs don't bang into the sharp corners, because there's not much room. As you can see, the stairs over here, and this is the waiting area underneath the stairs. What you see by that door is actually a water cooler. Let's see if I can pop that off. That's not on a jumper plate, but that is actually on a regular 2x2 plate. But let me just take this off so that you can have a quick look at the water cooler. Pretty straightforward build, but it looks like a water gallon tank with some cups over there. So I took this out so that you can also see the two chairs. That's a waiting area, and that's a newspaper stand for people to read the newspapers as they wait. A bit of decorations in terms of the tiling for the entrance, and if you swing over here, you can see the pharmacy, because that's all the different medicine in containers. And there's actually a little window. You can see that right there in that corner. That leads to the doctor's consultation office, because often there is a window to pass prescriptions and small notes. So this is the door to the doctor's office, and let's have a look inside the doctor's consultation room. We have a doctor seeing a patient, and that's the patient right there. He actually came to the doctor and he said, "Doc, I feel funny." So the doctor is taking a thermometer to see if he's okay. And inside we can see the doctor's office. It's a computer, his desk, a bit of a filing cabinet. There is a patient table, or I guess a bed you call it, but this is a multifunctional bed. It can actually fold up almost like into a dentist chair. And we've got some containers or cupboards for him to keep his medical supplies. Now over on this side, on the other side of the reception area, is the operating theatre. And this is a medical center, but it's got a operating theatre, so it's not a full-fledged hospital, but it's more than a clinic. And we can see there's actually a surgical team about to operate on a patient, and we can take this out so that you can see what's going on. This entire bed can be removed because I've also placed it on jumper plates. We've got an IV drip over here, and that's the operating bed. Very sturdy build. In fact, this build is more or less from the Friends Hospital set. And we have a patient over here. In fact, this is what happened. So this man walked into the medical center in the morning, and the nurse asked, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And the frog said, "I don't know. When I woke up, this thing was growing out from me." So now he's attending surgery so that they can extract this thing from the frog. So hopefully the frog will be okay. Inside the surgical theater, we've got the surgeon, we've got a nurse, and we have the anesthesiologist right there. And this is fully equipped. That's a EKG machine, a monitor on the wall, more control panels. We've got an X-ray light box with X-rays on the light box, and over here we've got a little trolley to hold all the equipment, and there's also a sink over here so that surgeons can wash their hands, and of course a clock so they can monitor the surgery. That's the first floor. Let's go up to the second floor. Here's the second floor, and it's divided in several sections as well. You actually come up the stairwell over here where there's a general waiting area, and there's a guy with a cast waiting on the seats. And over here we've got two rooms. This is the X-ray room, and this is a lab. Let's have a look inside. Over here it's pretty small, but I'll try to zoom in so that you can have a look. We have basically a medical staff attending to a patient who's being X-rayed, and this is the X-ray camera. You can see it actually hinges up and it can slide along that bar so that you can X-ray different parts of a patient's body as needed. And over here we have the medical staff looking at the X-ray, I guess the printout or the computer. Let me just take this medical staff out of the way. And the funny thing is, this patient came to the medical center and claimed that he had a big headache, but he was very unconvincing, and the medical staff thought he might just be trying to get out of work. But they patronized him and they said, okay, why don't we just do an X-ray? So after the X-ray, this medical staff basically said, you know, I see right through you. I don't think there's anything wrong with your head because, you know, honestly, I can't see anything. But let's have a look at the patient, because actually the medical staff is telling the complete truth. She sees right through the patient. Yeah, because he's got a transparent head. So there's literally nothing inside. Well, that's the X-ray patient. That's the X-ray bed which I pulled out along the way. Let's have a look at the laboratory over here. Now, this is a lab where basically the staff can be inside. There's a blood analysis machine. There's a burner with some kind of liquid inside, a flask. There's lots of different specimens to be tested, and this is a microscope right over here. But you know what's the very interesting thing? This guy is not really a medical staff. In fact, he somehow snuck into the laboratory, and what he's done, he's actually used the different equipment here to produce blue sugar. That's right, there's a new kind of sugar which is actually illegal in Small Brick City. Very interesting. So he's been successful producing his blue sugar. And remember the guy in the waiting room? Well, this guy actually doesn't look like a nice guy. He's in fact not a real patient. He is a guy who is actually, well, he's basically a sugar pusher. And he's here to check up on the guy who's making his blue sugar for him. And this cast he has on his hand is really just a fake. After all, who wears a cast over black gloves? He's wearing the gloves, of course, to hide his fingerprints. So he's waiting for the guy inside to finish his blue sugar. Now, what he doesn't realize is this is a toilet, and you can see the sign right there. This is a small toilet. It's fully equipped, but with actually some guy inside. He is on the toilet, but he's actually not using the toilet. This is an undercover cop, and he's actually waiting because he's gonna spring a trap on this bad guy and take him down at the right time. So hopefully he gets his man. But let's have a look inside the toilet. There's a really small door, as you can see over here, that opens up and you squeeze yourself into the toilet, but it's fully equipped. There is a toilet bowl. The water tank is built into the wall. There's also an electrical panel which controls the bidet and the heating function of the toilet. You can of course operate the flush from there as well. And there's also a sink with a tap and a liquid soap dispenser. And of course at the back of the toilet there's a ventilation unit so that no one dies from the foul smell. But let me just tell you this ventilation unit isn't working at the moment. And let's go to the final room, and this is the patient recovery room, and we have doctors and a nurse who's actually looking on the patient, but it does seem that something is wrong. Basically, they haven't been looking after the patient very well, and the nurse who's over here wanted to come in to give him his medication and found him in this state. And he called the doctor over and he says, "Doc, I think he's dead." And doctor is now trying to determine if the patient is alive or not. And basically they found that this ventilation wasn't working, and this guy obviously died from the foul smell. So there we have, that is the second floor. I hope you enjoyed all the details in this build and also enjoyed all the different minifigs staged in the scenes. I hope you enjoyed this look at this 2-story modular style medical center. I've had lots of fun putting it together for the last week or so, and it looks like our cop has gotten the bad guy over here. This is not the end of the process of this particular MOC. It's going to go through at least one more evolution. I'm not going to add another level because I don't think that adds a lot to the build, because I would basically replicate the second floor, so there's no need to do that. But what I'm going to do is based on popular request, or I should say demand, from my viewers and subscribers. See the staircase over here? Many of them felt that it should not be a staircase, but it should be an elevator to take a wheelchair up to the second floor, and they are not wrong. Some have also suggested that the configurations of the different rooms should be switched around. For example, if there's a patient recovery room over here, the operating theatre should be on the same floor. And I think that's true as well. So what I'm going to do in the next video, which will be under the series of building a MOC from start to finish, and I hope to do everything in one video, I'm going to do pretty much a renovation where I'm going to remove the staircase, fit in an elevator somehow, and also reconfigure the rooms. That means a lot of the interior detailing will be switched around. Possibly the toilet will no longer be here and may have to be moved down. But I think it's interesting, and I think that's the great thing about LEGO. You can always improve and evolve the builds. Everything is built together with just bricks and plates. You can take them apart. I know sometimes you get attached to your different builds and MOCs, but remember, it is an evolution process and you always want to improve your builds, and one great way is to listen to suggestions from others and then try to improve it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to evolve and improve this modular building once again by replacing the stairs with an elevator. So till next time, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos before you go.